Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 64 of Podcast of Five Rings, your source of enlightenment in the realm of video games, tabletop, anime, film, and tech. Each episode of Podcast of Five Rings releases Monday mornings on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Talk About Topic day by day on YouTube, with full video releasing on Friday. To catch updates about the podcast, or for other news, give us a follow on your social media platform of choice.
What are you watching? Are you watching the dog? Are you watching the dog again?
No, I'm your host, GM, overseer, Podcast of Five Rings, Fergie having a stroke. Obsidian. Oh my god. Introduce yourselves. I gotta laugh it off.
We're trying to do the introduction here.
I gotta laugh it off. You introduce yourself.
What are you watching? That's even.
I'm not watching anything. I was doing the Fergie.
You're just reminded that one funny
I was doing the Black
moment.
Eyed Peas song before we started recording. I couldn't stop laughing.
All right, what do we have? We have the
what is it? The Fall That Will Not Fall? That's what.
oh no, the he weebles or he wobbles, but he won't fall down.
I mean, he weeble wobbles and falls down, but, you know, that's usually if too much sake is involved.
And the wall came tumbling down.
Wah, wah. Well, it only happens once.
Only needs to happen once, right?
I was gonna say, right? If it happens once, you're screwed.
keep going, Mal. I want your versions of everyone's name.
I am your resident Joker Arcana. Fool.
Oh my god.
And I have nothing about, I don't know, the guy we blame all the typos on.
There you go. Hey,
That would be me.
Hey.
I don't know what it is. It's like whenever I'm typing at work, you know, because I'm doing work stuff and definitely not fucking around like everybody else.
No, we all work constantly, 24/7.
Yeah, 24/7. I come home and it's still work.
My brain is
get work out of my mind.
My brain is plugged into the cloud, which reroutes into the proprietary software we use at work.
I actually hook up my mind to a database that just allows me to work from home.
Hey man, once the singularity gets here, that's all we're going to be doing is working.
That's all I remember doing. I don't know why. It's like every time I type, it's just I think it's because of the position. I got a laptop at work, but I use the laptop. Like I think it's really stupid to have like keyboard and everything else when you've got a laptop that does it for you right there, stuff. So I'll end up just typing on that laptop keyboard, but it puts my hand sometimes in a weird position, and so I end up making typos more often.
That's why you get a different keyboard.
Well, if I got a different keyboard, then I'd have to have a keyboard in front of my stupid laptop, which also has a keyboard. I'll take the type. I'll just take the typos. The save like 20. That's my reason for so.
My wrist is so sore.
I have been horrible, Mal. Let me tell you all about it in extensive, vivid detail. It all started when I was a child.
That's good to hear. Moving on.
Wait, stop.
Tell us his backstory.
Hey, this is my chance. It's like, yeah, it's my backstory. I only get this once, and then I'm gonna die like 4 chapters later on.
Yeah. We never found out.
We just gotta power through those death flags.
I know, right?
Don't promise to have sex with someone.
Yeah.
After
this.
Yeah, I know, right?
Once we get out of the city, I'll tell you about my father. No! I don't want to know.
No.
You fool! You doomed yourself.
You killed me. Oh my god.
Too on point. It's too on point.
But
I've been okay this week.
Yeah.
It's been a boring, slow week. I ended up having to stay home yesterday though, because we had movers coming in. I was giving. Remember how I talked about when I moved all that crap and furniture?
Yeah.
Yep.
Weeks ago. Yeah. Well, some of the furniture I still had to get rid of, and I was giving a new couch to my dad, so I had to stay home yesterday so that I could be there when the movers came in. And because of my hours, it's like right in the middle of the day when they were going to come in, so I just didn't bother to go.
Nah.
Yeah, I would have done the same.
You should have asked them to do it tomorrow so you could have a 4-day weekend.
That would have been smart. I should have been like, why did you get him on Friday? I could have gotten like a sweet 4-day weekend.
Yeah.
That would have been smart. But yeah, that's about it. That's it. That's about this exciting part of my week. I kid you not.
I've been listening to Critical Role and lamenting that I'm not playing D&D constantly. I just want to play D&D.
You could try and play
really
more
bad.
D&D.
was gonna say you could definitely
true.
try. We're gonna have an L5R game coming up, and then you've got the monthly module.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not D&D. I've got so many characters I want to play.
All these themed characters I want to play.
I don't want to go to these crap. Okay, let me rephrase. I don't want to go to these game stores and play with these grognards and their D&D Adventure League and get restricted. And I don't even know these people. I don't even know if they're a good GM. I don't know who these players are. I don't know who these people are. I don't care about their backstories. I don't care about their freaking custom-made, homebrewed magic item bullcrap.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you right here for a moment.
Have that
I care about playing my level 1 war mage. That's what I care about playing.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you right here, and I'm gonna ask all of you, please remember this is a topic for next week. I feel like this is actually a good topic.
No, I just wanted to cut a promo on the Chattanooga D&D community, who I don't know any of. I haven't played.
You don't actually know. I'm sure you don't know anything about them. You're already dissing them.
Let me reel this back. Let me reel this back. I'm sure they're all lovely, wonderful people with lots of creativity and wonder and whimsy in their heads.
You just hate them all.
Just all of them.
Yeah.
See, I'm different from you. I would specifically state I don't believe they have any of those things whatsoever.
Yeah. No, I just like playing with like my group of people, like my home group.
Yeah.
I can
Like
understand that.
it's fun. I've like sometimes gone out and played with new people just to experience new things, but sometimes it's like hard to be like the one new guy who gets into their group and you're used to different kind of play styles, or like any group around here, it's always like 7 people that play together, and I don't really like big groups at a tabletop game.
Pretty big.
So
there is a point where it's like too big of a group, and then you have, because I know that feeling because I run well, it's on hiatus right now because I needed a break, but I used to run a Fate game that 12 plus people show up every other week.
yeah.
Let me tell you something about that combat. Oh man, you think you have a short combat encounter? Let me tell you, add 2 hours to that bad boy.
6 hours later.
6 hours.
Slaps that combat. This bad boy can fit.
I know this bad boy can fit so much time into it.
Has everyone had a turn? Oh, okay, he's dead.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it feels like. That's really what it is. We have
make sure everyone can do something, and then they're dead.
I will say, I did enjoy one of my GMs for another game. We had a bunch of us compared to the one enemy, and he gave the enemy the ability to like have a few actions throughout the turn.
Yeah,
Meta.
I actually like that idea. That's from I've seen that done before. Even
They
before,
do it in 5th edition.
5th edition
yeah,
has
5th
the
edition
legendary
legendary
actions.
and that's
That
Or
was
lair
awesome.
actions,
Yeah.
even.
or lair actions. But I've seen it be done
Both.
before that. And I think it's like a great way to deal with big parties. Is just give your boss creature like more actions if you don't really feel like dealing with minions and you just want them to all slap one stick. If you all want to hit on HP Sponge, then just give it legendary actions.
HP Sponge does 10d8 damage.
10d8 every hit.
I want to
That's
finger of death you.
At some
If
point, that's a fun story to have to tell about the crazy ghost.
As a standard action, you make 5 attacks. They are all 10d8 damage plus 40.
By the way, DR 30. And immunity to half damage tops. Come at me, bro.
God, he has also foresight on him, so he's always at advantage, and you're always at.
Oh yeah.
Jeez, how much health does he have?
800.
800. 1,000. Let's just do a clean 1,000.
I hope you brought the barbarian with you. He only
The only
he
thing
has
that
a clause.
potentially
All of his damage reduction is ignored by someone who is in rage.
That's right.
No. Okay. All right, let's get to our topics.
right.
We've only got 2 tonight because it's a slow going. We've been busy and not a lot has really happened. So we kind of talked about this a little bit last week. I said let's shelve this topic. Let's come back to it. And
So we're coming back to it.
So yeah, so
Here
we're
we
coming
are.
back to it, so we can have
Look at that,
a
man
decent
of
little
your word.
discussion here about it. Let's
On
talk
our return
about.
trip, we're talking about it.
We're coming back. I'm turning the car around. We're going back to last week.
That's
Bloodborne
right.
2.
Bloodborne 2.
The DeLorean
We're all
is at
very
88
excited for
miles
it.
per hour. Yeah, no, we went to the future. Bloodborne 2's out. Oh god,
It's great, guys. You would not believe how amazing this game is.
It's crap.
Hey,
Like that one naysayer.
the one
Don't say
contrarian.
that. They might never be able to afford making another Armored Core.
No, I take it back. I take it back.
No,
We need them to succeed.
we're talking about emulation. So I think
we
Matt
there
was
yet?
talking about this. I didn't even know about it. Nintendo always does this. Nintendo was cracking down on the thing people are using to make ROM hacks, right?
Well, yeah, this was specifically today. They pulled a ROM pack for RPG Maker, specifically and it was the Pokemon Creator Pack or something. I can't remember the exact name, but yeah, it's been around. It had been around for like 11 years, but it contained ripped asset directly from the game,
Yeah.
like the Pokemon game.
Yeah.
So
I didn't realize it was for RPG Maker, so
Yeah.
that makes it even a bigger deal.
I thought it was its own thing.
Yeah, but anyways, I want to pick your guys' brain on like emulation because most people either don't care or are super anti like ROMs and emulation. So, like,
I
where do you
say Viva
stand?
la
Are they good or
Revolution.
bad? Do you do if so, why? If not, why? So on and so forth.
I say Viva la Revolution. Download all the ROMs, disregard law and society, and do what you want with those.
You wouldn't
ROMs.
steal
They're
a
yours
car,
now.
would you?
I would definitely download a car.
Put on your hood and download your car. And
I want to
download
put on my
emulation.
black hat. I want to become a black hat hacker, and I'm going to totally like get all the ROMs. Yeah.
All right, what about
No.
you guys?
That's Mena's answer.
That's my.
We'll
that's
come to
my
reasons in a second. Let's
I
know
know,
where
like-
we all stand on this debate.
It honestly for me it kind of depends like what it is. Things like Pokemon, there's like easy enough access to get it through like virtual
Virtual
what's it
console.
called? Yeah, virtual console. So I'm not as like game for that, but something like that was like on the NES, that was this one random thing that nobody barely remembers, but you played as a kid and you remember have positive, recollections about it. I mean, really, what does it hurt? Like, seriously, it's not like they're selling the game anymore.
Yeah, I mean, on one hand, like I'm gonna kind of mirror that statement a little bit. Like on one hand, I get it. It is the company's assets. It is their product. They have the right to say, lawfully, have the right to say that, like, nah, you can't put that ROM out there. But as you point out, there are so many games that came out for these consoles that are no longer available on any regular medium to the public.
I think the
And
NES has like 700 games or something.
Yeah. So, and like we know, like majority of those are never going to be stretched up from the horrible, horrible world that they came from.
So put them
I
on
still
that
have-
NES Classic too.
I still have a copy of ET.
Oh wow.
Wow.
I'm
Not that
sorry.
it ever gets touched, but I still have it.
That is.
You
that
owned
might
it
actually be
back
worth,
in the day.
That might actually be worth some money.
Actually, my dad had bought it for me just because he was actually a big ET fan. I don't actually like the movie all that much.
Yeah, that might actually be worth some
Um,
money. So just letting you know.
Yeah, it's true.
But like, I like as the example of that ET. Like, if you wanted to play that, there's no way you're gonna get it unless you can find somebody who's willing to sell a copy of that horrific game, anymore. And it kind of sucks. I mean, like obviously, like the classics, like Mario. Well, obviously Nintendo's favorite. They've been doing it for a while. But other games, not so. And that's kind of where it's.
What about you, Mel?
yeah, I mean, ultimately it comes down to convenience for me, I guess. Yeah, it's a hard thing to figure out because yeah, like what's the term? I'm blinking.
Describe it.
Just like storing it, like archiving
Game
it,
history, yeah,
preservation.
like game preservation.
Archiving.
That's
It's
my big
definitely
thing.
something people want, but I mean, yeah, copyright is so and whatnot and is a very hard thing to
Yeah.
deal with. Like in the U.S. especially, like just keeps getting extended. Like it's like 75
Yeah.
years now because of Mickey Mouse,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, it's
Which
75
means
years.
every
It'll
game
just keep
that ever
extending.
has ever been made is still has decades till it will rotate out if
If
the
ever.
laws don't change.
Which is in my eyes is very silly. I think like the copyright thing should not be retroactive in any shape or form. I get the need for it, or like at least make it by case basis. I just don't think.
Yeah.
I think this is really something that should be looked at a little bit more individually, and I know that means like that's more paperwork, that's more people, that's more time. But I mean,
Well, I mean, and
Yeah.
even to a degree, like really for me, like going one step further, it's not even just like a does this game need to be retroactively, copyrighted or that game, but even just saying like what is this person using the ROMs for? Like is this particular site that has this game up on its site for people to download, is it actually just continuing to grow a community that one day if we decide to make a new game, we know we're going to have customers for it because this site kept the ROM up there? Like at what point does it not
I doubt
benefit
it's
the
that.
company? Well, but I mean, but at some point that should factor into things. I feel like
I don't think it's ever going to be big enough.
Yeah.
You saw the numbers.
no.
Like
but,
this game, this
but
is
how much money are they losing though? Again, it's not that
right.
big.
Okay,
of
I
numbers.
just saw the numbers.
Yeah.
Of like pissing people off at least, where this community, the one that they just shut down today, was 16,000. Was like the highest number, which was less than 0.3% of Pokemon sales from the
Yeah.
last game, and
Yeah.
it's like that. It wasn't growing any community large enough for them to care about.
Well, right, but I mean, like, what?
I,
How much were they losing from it?
nothing. Well, they easily not even 0.3%.
Right, yeah. If they lost the exact amount that they could have possibly gained, it's still a net.
Well,
like,
so there's also trademarks and copyrights all weird. So like sometimes there's a use or lose it or
oh,
defend
that's
it type thing.
true.
Mhm.
That's
And I have seen a
true.
lot of stuff going back and forth about that, where it might or might not apply. I'm not a lawyer, so I can't actually say, but that also can be a factor. And then there's also a possibility with something. Nintendo also sometimes does this to signal the future, and some people are like, maybe they're going to make a Pokemon creator game, but I mean, I doubt it. But
Right.
that's just
I mean,
something else I saw.
It's not really just Nintendo either. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
Nintendo.
No, well, I mean,
forefront.
they're the ones that have been. It's just ever since the last president passed away, and the newer one has been, or at least Nintendo's gotten a lot more serious about all these takedowns. Basically,
Yeah.
It's just a shame. I think at the end of the day,
there are because there's Sega will encourage things like this, and which even led to Sonic Mania, which is a weird
Yeah.
precedent.
I honestly,
and
but I
then
mean, one of the best things ever in a long
even
time. Yeah,
Capcom has been like somewhat friendly. There was like a Mega Man vs Street Fighter game I think someone made.
Yeah.
They like they acknowledged it and said it was cool or something basically.
Yeah.
But that doesn't. I mean, that's well, in like Sega's case, Sega's not nearly as big as a company with as many successes, so it's like
Yes,
different
yeah.
circumstances.
Yeah, but Capcom is a pretty big company. Not
Right. Well, they didn't even go that far. They're just like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah,
But,
they're like,
I
it's
mean,
fine.
Nintendo has been
well
for a long time because, like, even there's the whole thing about not letting people put any form of like a gameplay on for videos and stuff at one point. Like they're cracking
Yeah.
down on that stuff.
Yeah, Nintendo has a bunch of weird draconian stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, well, Nintendo. Yeah, again,
I mean-
Nintendo's a special case though. That's why they're the forefront of everything. So, I mean, there's nothing to say about them. Very, very, very stuck to the law. They're very, very strict on what they do. That really gonna back down from stands.
They love protecting their IPs.
And
Yeah,
I mean,
they wanna
ultimately,
protect
that's. I mean, it's all within their rights.
Yeah, well,
Right.
obviously, that's absolutely within the right. The problem is that
They don't make their shit accessible.
yeah, I mean, if you want to, like, it's what it really comes down to is You are having a choice between, do you follow the law and say you're a law-abiding citizen and this is what you're doing because it's the law and they get it because that's the law, or do you follow the sense of like, this is a good thing? And that's where you're going to get the conflict.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because
I don't know if there's any data supporting it like being a good thing though.
I don't think it's
Like, I mean, what do they get out of
Yeah.
letting these sit like up, basically?
well,
The
there's
only thing
nothing
you really
really lost out of it,
quantitate
though.
is the
And
sales,
not good.
but that's
I'm
hard
not,
to do.
I'm not talking about good thing for sales. I'm not talking about numbers. I'm just
Right.
talking about
I mean, saying outside of that, like, what does
How
Nintendo
does it-
get out of letting
how's the company
net
itself?
what is it? I think that the question that comes down to, does it matter if they get it?
I mean, they must think it does, but
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but that's not the question.
or they just want to be overly protective of their IP.
Which is, again, they're absolutely within the law to do so. But is that really a good thing for anybody?
I mean, I guess until sales actually start declining, they have no way of knowing like if it's a bad thing. Like,
I don't
right?
think-
Like, they just make too much money to care about this.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if they're a company, they're successful, they're going to make tons of money. But it's not. I guess it's just not a number thing to me. My question really comes down to: does it truly matter at the end
Right.
of the day?
But for
Not
them, it's
for-
always
for-
going to be a number thing.
Yeah, obviously. But as we've just pointed out, it's not even 0.3% for current Pokemon sales, and that's not even a number. That's so infinitesimally small. Which, by the way, of those 16,000 people, could also be people who are quite literally buying. They could be 60,000 people who buy the
Yes.
newest game, so it wouldn't even matter for their sales in any shape. So
What-
the question comes back to: is it really a bad thing? Is it a good thing?
yeah.
The law is going to agree with them. There's
Well,
no doubt about
A
that.
lot of people use ROMs and stuff to basically practice like game programming and like read code and see how it's all done and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Right.
it's kinda
They're
cool.
not stopping that.
Yeah,
They were stopping. This one got taken down literally because it had stuff from their game ripped from
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
If someone
Yeah,
else had just drawn stuff similar to their game, it would have been
They
perfectly
would have been fine. Yeah, they would have been fine with it. It's just they're just protecting the item and I understand because the other side of the law is that like
Like, if you do away with all that, then like no one can make any money off of what they want to sell necessarily. Like, you just
See-
someone takes it and sells it as themselves.
I can
or-
get where
Yeah,
I can
that's
get
where
where
it's
the
a
company
problem.
comes to the other side though. Because the other side of the thing is whether it's a good idea or not, the company because from the law side, if they allow it to happen, and then somebody else says like they come after somebody else, they're like, well, they did it, and you're letting them do it, and then now that's a very hard case for the company to defend their product because then they have to like explain, well, why did you let Group A do this? And we have proof that you saw, acknowledged in some shape or form, okayed it. So why are they allowed to do it, and not me? And that's what the other side comes from because now the company has to try to defend like why this person can do X with their product or their image or something that's under their name, but why this guy can't. And that's a legal battle you really don't want to fight from a company's perspective. So I can understand why they crack down so hard. Any company will.
Yeah. I just
My
wish...
company has done it plenty of time. My company has had to go to China because China will do this. This is very common in China.
Yeah,
Sorry,
China. That's a global
Yeah,
That's
that's a
everyone
global
else
issue.
outside of outside of China has an issue with this, and there's nothing
Yeah.
really you can do about
You
it.
can do
China's
about
just
it,
like,
but
meh.
oops. Meh.
I mean, that's why there's a World of Warcraft park in China,
Yep.
even though Blizzard
It-
doesn't want it to be there.
Yep. But they go after it anyway, and they have other companies. We've had people who make T-shirt designs with some product that's similar. It's not named our company's product, but it's got a product that's similar to it and whatnot. You have to go after them too, because if you continue to let them sell it and you know about it, then somebody else is going to be able to point to them and say, "What about them?"
Right, sets a precedence.
Yeah, and that is a huge thing in the court of law. When you're trying to protect something that is yours. So I understand why Nintendo goes after.
Yeah.
And I think anybody will understand why Nintendo is so vehement about it. Whether you agree or not is a different point, but you can at least understand the reasoning why.
Yeah.
But
I think a lot of people would actually buy the stuff again if they just made it more accessible.
Yeah,
That's what it comes down to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm sure they would be.
like studies show there is a point of convenience, like
Yeah.
on both sides. Like if piracy is more convenient and even if something is available in piracies, like you can still, a lot of these games you could probably buy or get access to for a couple $100 or something, which is just way outside the scope for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But it is still technically
at some
there.
point,
Hunting down
right.
old hardware and stuff.
Yeah, and at some point, if something's available for $10 or $20, and the piracy is like you have to go through so many steps to set it up, that's when people are like, "I'll just buy it."
Which, I mean, that's just a logical thing.
There's always a balancing act.
Well, I mean, like that's the logical thing, though, is that you're always going to choose the most convenient route, and generally people will lean towards the side that won't get them in trouble, which is obviously buying the game. So if I have to download the game, it's download our emulator, download the ROM, install it, or I could just pick up my.
You also have to get the emulator working by getting like the right BIOS file or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not a lot of work, truth be told. You can easily find all of this stuff on. It's not hard, but it's still steps. And when you look at it on paper, it looks like a lot of steps.
And I'm a JRPG connoisseur, so I appreciate that there are fan translation groups and communities out there that translate games like Tales of Phantasia instead of us getting the crappy GBA version that is unplayable, or Final Fantasy V, which has an awful localization.
Yeah,
and the fan sub of that is infinitely better than the one Square put out. Like stuff like that is just nice and convenient. Like Star Ocean games before they re-released those over here, the first and second one. So
yeah. Plus, also, I mean, all the PlayStation games I've emulated are because they're hundreds of dollars to buy on a disc.
Yeah, that's the same thing here. Like, I wanted to play not Armored Core. I wanted to play Front Mission 3, but at the time when I wanted to play it, that wasn't a game that was really easily available at all. Yeah. So I ended up having to ROM and emulate it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Final Fantasy VII, I've emulated, and then it came out on Steam. I bought it there.
Yeah,
you can. Emulation is so nice because you can make the games look like infinitely better too.
Yeah, that's true too.
And run so nice.
Yeah. There's a lot you can do with them.
But yeah,
play
and
online
then sometimes
with other people.
Just random bugs and stuff too.
There's always unfortunately that's a common problem. Like PS2 emulator that I
N64 has weird stuff too. You always have to download like graphical plugins and stuff.
Yep. There's a lot of work, and there's just like that again. It comes to the point. It's a lot of work to get what you want, and it lacks that convenience that you so desperately desire.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I just want to be able to buy whatever game for a reasonable cost.
Yeah, there's a lot of games I would literally, if they just put out, I would literally buy them for like $5.
I'm sure a lot of people would do the same. There's been we've seen.
There's also been talk of why they're getting rid of all the emulation sites in general lately is because the virtual console is going to supposedly have a lot of or hopefully will have a lot of games.
Yeah, they're going to do their online service where you get a free game or something every month. I don't know.
Right.
But
and I mean you would think you would also just be able to buy the ones you want, right?
Well, that's gonna have its own can of that's gonna have its own can of worms though, because when you start doing it like that, is it actually something I own? Is it gonna be around 10 years from now when you finally decide to make your, the Wii Dolphin 5000 or something?
No.
You don't know.
Do you have to rebuy it again? Yes, that's how all of these digital stores have worked.
Yeah, but that's the problem in itself, because I don't want to have to keep rebuying a game. I don't want to keep slapping down $10.
A lot of people are fine with that, though.
That's fine if they're fine with it, but that's not something everybody's
right.
And I don't think it's a fair way to do it either. You didn't have to do it back.
I mean, times change.
Yes, they do, and sometimes for the worst. It's an unfortunate thing because again, that really is a bigger problem. It's a part of why I personally see that ROMs are a solution to that problem, because instead of having to pay for a product over and over again just because they don't want to keep supporting a product that for whatever reason anymore, only to resell it on a new thing, it's kind of sleazy. I know a lot of people have no I would say a lot of people. I would love to see numbers on that actually. Do people really dislike it, but they do it because that's
probably
the only
more
way
than
they
you
can do
think.
it? Yeah, I'm sure there's.
I understand that sentiment because there are people who are like.
Ideally, I would not prefer it to be that
Yeah.
like that. But
there are people that are like, "Oh, Nintendo's like making me buy Zelda again for the 5th time," but at the same time, they're not like forcing you to buy it.
Well, no,
Right.
nobody's ever forcing you to buy it.
But yeah,
Exactly.
it is a little bit transparent.
It is, but again, like my issue is that they have you buy a product again that they're bringing out for a new system. Fine, they're bringing it out for a new system. It's going to be there forever as long as you can keep the system running. If it's 50 years from now, and as long as you have that working system and that working game, it's fine. The problem is when it's more of a digital type thing where after they're done emulating that service, they just drop it. You have no longer access to that game, and then you have to buy it on a new system all over again because they've ended a digital service for it. That's where I get my wires crossed on why is that an okay acceptable thing? Is it, and are people even acceptable of it, or is it just that there's nothing that's being done about it?
Yeah, it's hard to say.
I would love to see a study on that. In fact, I'll probably look up one after the podcast. So
I mean, I don't think a lot of them have like it's still. I think it's still too new. Like I don't think a lot.
Yeah.
Like I think the DS store shut down. Like
Yeah.
PS3 and PS3 store's still up.
Yeah.
yes,
I
it is.
assume the 360 store is still up. So
Yeah,
like we still haven't really lost anything big yet. Like all of those games you can still just play that you bought on digitally, but eventually they could just shut them down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
and that's just the. I
think
mean,
it's
it's
that
what as
threat
long
of
as they
that,
don't.
like, right?
What?
yeah, but it's also something you should like. It's probably in the terms of service, and it's something you should realize when you buy the game.
Oh,
Like
absolutely.
it's always like.
Yeah.
I mean, if you you don't have to buy the game.
No, you don't have to buy the game. It just sucks to know that it can be taken
Right.
away so quickly. And I think in a world where we can far more achieve the
digital
ideal,
legal rights are weird.
they are,
I
and
think
that's something
why
that
I
needs to be
always
worked on.
wanna buy
But again, I
like
think
GameStop.
this world, we have the possibility of achieving a far better ideal than what is currently out there. So that is something
I
that
mean-
should be strived for. There's
Right,
no
but
reason
they're
to
not
stick.
going.
There's no reason to
spend
stick
the
in
money to develop it for like. I mean, it's not just a simple drag the file into the PS.
Oh,
like
no,
for the
of course
PS3 to the
not.
PS4 there is
Absolutely.
a cost
Now,
there. And
do
they're
you not
never going
understand
to-
how simple this is? I can
and
easily
they're-
put it on my
I'm just
thumb
saying,
drive
they're
and just walk
never
it over.
going to do that work and then give it away for free. It's just never going to happen.
No, it shouldn't have to be given away for free. But again, that's not the issue. That's not the problem I see with that. It's the problem of just eventually taking it away or being done with it, and there's no way to get it back.
Right. I
And
mean,
it's not on
also
your
it costs
end, it's
money
not-
to run the servers and stuff too. So
You can always, I mean, the standalone game in and of itself should be just installed to the machine, and that should be able to run it. It's just like
well,
having
yes,
a bloody
that will
disc.
always if you have it downloaded to your machine, you will always be able to play that. Other
See,
than
that's-
online games, which is a
Well,
whole
yeah,
different-
online games you're going to be screwed because that's just how the.
I mean, that's a whole nother
That's-
thing
yeah.
about archiving games. Like, there are some people who archive dead MMOs, which is interesting. But
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I mean,
but
the games
like,
that we,
yeah,
well, but
like
games,
any
see,
game
that's a
I
different-
have on my
it's a different
PS3
class, though.
hard drive, as long as the hardware holds up, I can play it even once the PS3 store goes down.
And I know a lot of the problem can also be issued because they're moving along with the ideas that it's no longer so much attached to the system, but it's also attached to your account. So even if you bought it there, you can still bring it into your new system if they have it available for you, which
Right.
companies are generally good about. So giving them credit.
And
where
like,
it's
if
due.
you break your disc, you have to buy a new disc.
yeah, you have to buy a new
regardless.
one if you break a
It-
disc. Which
You
I
get
mean-
the digital copy as long as the servers are up, as long as they pay for the servers.
And again, like I said, as long as if you attach it to the account, then you can even
Yeah,
see.
so
that,
there
like, they bought
there's
this here,
just-
it's available here, so you can bring it.
There's just differences between the two, right?
Yeah, there are differences. I don't want to see that that bad corner is the spot that I don't want to see. Like, that is something that we can polish out and be done with, and I think that's something that should be put forward. Not immediately, not right now.
Yeah,
not
I just
when
don't
it's
know
supposed
what a fix would be because it's always going to come down to who's spending the money to keep it alive, basically.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, at that point, I mean, there might not be the ideal. We might just come into a question of that there is no right choice. I mean,
Right.
that's always possible. There may never be a right choice either. But when it comes to the emulation of games, like for archival purposes, absolutely, I think they should be archived because some of these games are going to get lost. That is a fact. They will get lost. There's going to be a point, and we don't know when. We don't know how.
And our kids will never be able to play.
I mean,
The kids will never be
there are-
able to
there are
play.
games that have been lost.
Balloon
Yes.
Boy.
There have games
They
that-
only recently found some random Japanese games because, or like it was like 70 gigs worth of games that was in a private, like someone had privately that they didn't want to share with other people, and someone finally shared them. Like, and people, so
Very
it was just some
Yeah.
like random old Japanese games, 70 gigs worth.
Jesus. Well, there you go. Stuff like that. But I guess swinging it back to, I think the real question I really want to see answered is it bad, good? Does it matter for the basis of society in itself? Not for the coffers, not for is it within the law or not, but from a standpoint of is it truly bad or is it
I mean, that's
truly good?
So
that's
I
too
would go one-
subjective. Like bad,
Yeah,
good.
I was
That's all
gonna say-
morality. That's
yeah, I would go
philosophy
one
and-
step forward and further and say like at what point is something good or bad? Period. And that may
Yeah,
vary
who gets
by
to
person
decide
person.
that what? Like,
But
I
on a
do.
But
I
on a
do. I get to
society-
decide.
But honestly, though, like on a societal level, what is society but an agreed structure of rules that everybody has ascribed to because the majority of people say this is the way we should be. So there is some greater good that is assumed by all people. But how much is that good also rooted in selfishness of I want this game and I don't want to pay for it? So yeah, how much is it good? How much is
Yeah,
it bad?
I mean,
can
ultimately,
be-
I'm sure
that's
a lot
what-
of the
like I
uses
said,
of
my
like a
question
lot of
still
uses
stands, though.
behind piracy and romming and whatever
It's up
is
to you
just
how
that.
you use it.
So,
yeah,
like,
exactly.
well, I mean, to go back to like the idea of being subjective, though, is like, I mean, yeah, obviously, is it subjective because it's going to be based on somebody on like a moral value? But I mean, at the point though, there's going to be a normalization of that. What does the majority of society decide as is good or bad?
Right.
Is it really that bad if this game is out there that barely anybody touches and everybody plays, and a company comes along? And I know this is not how laws are made. Obviously, this is not how laws are done. But some laws are stupid too. So, but to come along and decide that like this just doesn't fit within the bounds anymore, it can be cast aside from the rules and be free play. And there might be other side of the normalization of it that states that like no, if as long as it's not within the rules or if it's not following these set of criteria, then it's still it's not free play.
Yeah.
But
ultimately, I think
ultimately do want to
the,
see an answer.
copyright and trademark rules have to change.
Yeah, that's the big thing.
That's
I think
the big
most
thing.
people
That's
like
the real
don't.
solution.
I think most people like are pro emulation, and for the reasons we've laid out and stuff. But most people are like super lawful to the point, unless it's like their IPs that are getting infringed on or something like that. Like, I just don't like people who like make the ROMs and then try to resell them,
Yeah.
and then the people who are
sleazy.
stupid enough to buy them.
ROMs, yeah, I was gonna say ROMs should never be bought. Like let's also lay that
Yeah.
out. If it's not being sold by the company through one of their like virtual
Do not
consoles,
buy
do
it.
not be paying money for it because
That's
that is
messed up.
absolute. Yeah. While we can argue about the morality of the company losing money in a nobody's gaining that money, if somebody else is actually actively making money off of somebody else's work, that's a no-no. That is.
There's also interesting, just an interesting problem that the internet, I guess, brings along with it is ads, and ads are on these
Oh.
sites.
That's true.
Someone is
Yeah.
making money off of people coming to these ROM sites.
Use ad block.
Yeah.
Use ad block, people.
I mean, I do, but
I do
I'm just
too.
saying.
I
a
would
lot
I
of
would
people don't.
I would say, like, from a security standpoint, use ad block because
Yeah.
you have no
Yeah,
idea
malware.
if those malware they can be called with. I can't remember the technical term, but I think it's called like a ad drop or something, where it quite literally you're downloading all of those ads onto your machine, and if there's something malicious in it, it's dropped in your temporary files and it immediately moves itself, installs itself.
Yep,
and
there's
then
even
you're good.
code that can be just run from RAM.
Yep.
Without installing a file,
Yep.
which
So
is on the rise
it's
this year.
very common.
I keep the tabs on those things.
No, it's a good thing to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
It is. Those things
but-
they're common. I mean, they're not a rare phenomenon.
Yeah.
anymore.
Plus,
They
I
are
mean,
becoming
actually, I'm
common.
sure a lot of people have, downloaded malicious things while
Yes.
trying to install ROMs.
Yes.
Oh
So
yeah, I have.
I would. I mean, just on the side note of an ad block, just get it to keep yourself more secure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that like that's how like people are trying to make revenue through stuff, but it's losing potentially years worth of data because let's be honest, most nobody ever backs up their information. Losing potentially years worth of data, or if you're at like a work machine or something, very important documents for your company, very bad, very bad. So just use it. Be safe.
Yep. Second topic, shall we? Who wants to introduce it?
I don't remember.
Okay, so not meta.
No, I remember it. I can introduce it if you want.
Go ahead.
All right, so obviously we're getting kind of that close to the end of the year. We might be like, in that starting to head into that home stretch before the last 3 months, and we've got some games coming up. Nothing crazy, but that's like the start of
just insane.
Yeah, just insane. Nothing crazy, just insane. Some might say even maddening. What are your guys? Call of Cthulhu reference. Oh.
I thought you were referencing Madden.
No. Oh no.
He would never.
I would never.
I was like,
ever. I wouldn't even look. I wouldn't even.
You.
I wouldn't even address that game by its first name.
Kick him off the Discord.
You have been removed from this channel.
I need to make a channel called the Shadow Realm. We can banish people too. But anyways.
So with the games coming up, we've got September games. Obviously, like starting in 2 days, we'll have September here, and then after that's October. What are some games you're looking forward to in those months?
You go, Tets. Go. I want to hear what Tets is excited about.
Why me? What did I do?
I'm putting you on the
Call
spot.
Of Cthulhu.
Well, there goes my discussion. I also said.
All right, why are you guys excited for Call of Cthulhu then?
Because it's
spooky,
Call
scary ghost, bro.
Scary ghost.
It's really ghost.
But it's first
really
player.
But it's also Lovecraft, and from what I've
First
seen,
person.
and I know we talked about this in a previous episode, but from what I've seen, they
The
have
last
done.
one.
Yeah, the last one.
It is a previous episode.
It is. They've done a great job of really modeling what it means to explore Lovecraftian horror. Like, it's not just tentacles and things beyond comprehension, gasp. Like, it's all of these other minor nuances to his writing that, from what we've seen from the gameplay videos, seems to, they've actually been able to work it into the gameplay of this game. And I know that there's been plenty of attempts at Lovecraftian games before, and how much can you really do it right? Because part of the horror of Lovecraft is a lack of agency for the main character. And so how do you take away player agency and allow it to still be fun? Right? Like,
yeah.
That's hard to do, but from what we've seen so far, I think they're doing a pretty good job with it, and I'm pretty excited to see how they're going to do that to make me feel like this character I'm playing is like borderlining on insanity, but it's not just an insanity here, right? It's not just like, oh yeah, because we're playing Lovecraft, you now have to manage sanity. End of statement. Like that gets so.
Yeah, a lot of games do like a sanity meter, like it's, I don't know, an oil stick, and you're just sticking it into the car and checking if it's bad and you need to change it or not.
And it's not a bad mechanic by any means, but it is an old mechanic. like it doesn't do as good a job.
I don't think I've ever seen sanity done in a game well.
The only one that I've...
what's it called for GameCube was awesome.
Yes, there was a very good one.
Yes, I remember what you call it.
What's it called?
TF, that was a
no,
great
I
game.
know what you're talking about.
Oh my god, I can't remember.
Well, while you think about that from an RPG standpoint, Don't Rest Your Head actually does a great job, and that's one
Eternal Darkness is what you're thinking.
Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem.
Eternal Darkness was a wonderful ad.
Where it would make your like TV cut on and off and stuff.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that one.
Yeah, it was actually very well done. There was points in the game where it would suddenly go to a blue screen and then tell you that your game is restarted. You need to you'll have to start over. Your file's been deleted.
Break the fourth wall.
Yes, the game would go completely out of its way to screw with you as a player and do a lot of things that you just wouldn't expect. It would even tell you that your controller is disconnected at one point, and it would actually cause your character to stop doing what they were doing for a short period of time. But if you just waited like a quick moment and then started playing again, your controller would still be plugged in.
That's some
Fine.
straight up Psycho Mantis shit.
Yeah, they would do that kind of shit. It was great. It was absolutely great, and
Yeah,
you
it
still
was
had to kind of
awesome.
watch your. Yeah, you still had to watch your dipstick sanity meter, but
So not having not played the game, is it one of those where if your dipstick got too high, that would happen more often?
yes, once you
Okay.
got, is it like it went up? Essentially, your sanity would it would cause these kind of things. It was like it was this green bar that would decrease when you were spotted by an enemy. And then like when it got low, there'd be first subtle changes, but then like as you got more and more low, the changes become bigger and bigger, like to the point where if it's empty, it would just do like crazy stuff.
Interesting.
So it was
Well-
it was a very interesting way of doing it, and it was probably one of the best ways.
Well, again, at some later point, I'll actually talk about Don't Rest Your Head. It's done by Evil Hat Productions, who also do Fate. Surprise, surprise. But they actually have a dice mechanic based off of Insanity, and like, well, they call it Madness, but Insanity, where you can permanently take more dice. But the problem was, like, if you rolled high or in that particular dice pool, the chance for something worse to happen to you would go up essentially. So you could use more dice to succeed, but it would cause more sanity breaking stuff to happen.
I want to see, like, you know, I'm super excited for it. I mean, like, I don't mean to cut you off, but here I go.
Oh yeah, you're fine.
I'm just excited to see a Lovecraftian game. I'm just
period. Like,
yeah.
let's be honest. When was the last time we saw a true, pure Lovecraftian game? Not something that just.
I think it was a
Lovecraft onto it.
number. I think it was a number of years ago. There was like
Eternal Darkness.
No, not Eternal Darkness. I think it was
No,
like
I
a
know.
horror of. I think it was like a not a horror of Dunwich, but it was another game.
There was one. Granted, I think this was more of an indie game, but there was one called Eldritch that came out not long ago, which was like this procedural dungeon-based semi-Minecrafty game that was entirely based off of the Lovecraft mythos.
There was Call of Cthulhu: Dark Corners of the Earth, which came out in 2005, and it was definitely something. It was an okay game.
Okay,
It
Eldritch
didn't
was
really-
2013.
It didn't really do anything super spectacular though. And then you had like games like obviously like Alone in the Dark was had a lot of Eldritch horror stuff. Do we count like little moments in other games? Like Secret World, which like had stuff all around that kind of stuff.
No, or at least not for me, because like when you have it as a tip of the hat, that's awesome, that's fun, that's entertaining. But I want a whole game where I feel like I am freaking in the middle of the mountains of madness. I'm one of those sailors on the boat during the Call of Cthulhu encounter. Like, give me something. Like, I want to be the detective who discovers the horrors at Red Hook. Like, I want that kind of a game. Like, I don't know.
What about Sherlock Holmes: The Awakened? That dealt with Cthulhu stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Forgot about that game.
yeah. I don't even know what came out.
No, World of Warcraft, the old gods. No,
Actually,
you.
they actually did good job. with the good stuff.
Sherlock Holmes: The Awakened was 2007.
Okay, so then
2007.
Okay, so then yeah, 2 years after Dark Corners of the Earth. So I mean, it's I think like this kind of just points out like it's been a really long time since like anything true to
Just a pure
yeah a
Eldritch
horror game has really come out
Yeah.
in some time. So I'm just glad to see
I mean,
a Cthulhu based game coming out, and I'm really glad to see that the way they're going to go about sanity is far more subtle.
yeah.
And it can affect a lot of how the ending comes out, and it's going to affect like is the clue that you found that you start turning into even an actual clue when some NPCs like that never happened. What the fuck are you talking?
Well, like, one of the big things I thought was awesome, and again, very quintessentially Lovecraftian that I feel like you don't see as much. If you try to complete everything in the game and you try to get every single clue you possibly get, if you're a completionist like I am,
You're probably gonna get the bad ending.
you're going to get the bad ending because
Yeah.
you're going to go fucking insane because the information is way too much for your measly little human mind to comprehend.
I mean, like at like the end of the day, Cthulhu is kind of like based off the idea is that the more information that you know, the better you are able to combat him, but the more harm you are doing to yourself.
But you're not combating him. You're putting him back to sleep to delay him for somebody else's problem.
That is combating him. That's what I mean by when you're combating him.
You're not
just delaying. You are delaying the problem.
You're not setting up a missile launcher to fire at Dagon. You're like, please go back to sleep.
So I'm very excited to see a game based off
Yes.
of a series that I really love, and I'm really hoping this does well. Oh wait, there might have been a game called Cthulhu: The Wasteland.
Oh, when did Cthulhu Saves the World come out? That was an RPG Maker game. That was
I do
actually
not
pretty
count that. I
entertaining.
am not counting that.
That doesn't count at all.
Call of the Cthulhu Wasteland was a tactical role-playing game that was released in 2012. It was abysmal, apparently. So
Okay.
there you go. How about okay? We've talked about enough about Cthulhu. We're taking up the spot here. Mao, just come on. Let us know what you want to see.
Ours might be the same.
My top pick comes out in
5 days.
5 days.
All right, it's time.
Well,
I think.
what is that game, Mel?
Well, it's a little thing called Dragon Quest XI.
Okay, because I was gonna say God Wars: The Complete Legend, which also comes out in 5 days. I thought you were gonna pick
Dragon Quest XI.
that. Not Super Street, the game.
The only game that matters.
Yeah, I mean, Dragon Quest XI comes out so I guess
September
it's been
4th.
out in Japan
For a year.
Yeah,
Jeez.
but we're getting it September 4th.
I don't know why that's still a thing.
Because they had to localize the game.
Right.
They had to get all those English voice actors, because Dragon Quest doesn't have voice acting in Japan.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I'm going to be miserable.
Yeah, some of them aren't that great. At
No,
times.
they're not good at all, some of them.
Oof.
But the
I'll
game,
spend the money
everything
then.
I've heard about the game makes it sound so good. I love the Dragon Quest
Yeah.
series. It's one of my favorites.
The embargo
It's-
released this week, and everybody's just been unloading thoughts on
Yep.
the game, and I've been like, I just want it in my
yeah.
hand now.
Dragon Quest 1 and 2 on the Game Boy Color
Yeah, Game Boy Color.
was the first game that I chose and bought for myself, and I've loved it ever since. The last we got Dragon Quest 9, but I don't think it got much play. It was on a
No.
handheld console. Dragon Quest 8 came out in 2005, which is what
Yeah.
basically the main.
It's so old, it
exposure
had
to
the
West
Final
we had.
Fantasy 12 demo disc on it.
Right.
Whatever happened to 10?
10 was an
yeah.
MMO.
Only
An
in
MMO for the Wii.
Yep.
Ooh, wow, that's a bold
Weirdly.
move, Cotton.
Right. But yeah, this one just looks great. It looks so good, and I've been hearing a lot
been
of
getting good
people are
reviews.
like, basically the worst thing people can say about it is it's a Japanese RPG,
Yeah.
like a traditional Japanese RPG.
Yeah, so if you don't like them, you're not going to
Whoa,
like them.
Right.
Does that mean endless grinding, horrific amounts
Actually,
of money
people
needed?
said-
Actually,
the-
I've heard that the grinding is not
Yeah.
isn't really there,
There's hardly any. Like, you don't have
but
to
it is
grind at
80
all.
hours for the story.
Yeah, so long game.
Well, this doesn't. Okay, well, at least it hits the time for like a Japanese RPG, probably then
and
some.
it's turn based.
I mean, that's not bad.
You can move your character around in the battle, but
yeah,
it does
it doesn't
absolutely
matter. It's
nothing.
just something for you to do.
You would just end up seeing me circle around
Right.
again and again.
It's pirouettes.
You can blacksmith your weapons. There's a blacksmithing minigame now.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Forge your weapon. Go.
Get Puff Puff.
I saw one article about you were upset with what was it? What's the game? Octopath Traveler. Octopath's how the characters interacted. This is definitely a game you'll be happy with. The characters, I guess, are
Yeah.
it's the story about how the Dragon Quest always has basically there's a big bad guy, you got to stop him, but it's the character interactions that are really nice.
Have you
Kind of
heard?
reminds me.
How much have you read about the setting, Mel?
After 4, I know that it ties to 1, 2, and 3.
Yep.
Or
Yep.
might tie to 1, 2, and 3, which is great because I love 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
3 is one of, or might be, I don't know. It's tied with 8 for favorite at the moment.
Yeah. And the monster designs are, of course,
and
amazing.
Dragon Quest is just prolific in Japan. It's basically the thing that started Japanese RPGs as we know them.
They forced them to come out on Saturdays because so many people called out of work and disrupted the Japanese
workforce.
workforce.
Left school.
That's one of those rumors that is not proven, but they do always come out on Saturday.
It's pretty much true.
And they also they're the origin of a lot of mechanics. Like they had monster catching before Pokemon came out.
Mm-hmm. And like Persona does that a little bit now too, and Shin Megami Tensei.
Yep. They have a lot of they're like the grandfather of JRPGs.
Yeah. They're the reason probably why Square went off the deep end with Final Fantasy after they acquired Enix.
Yeah.
That's my theory anyways.
Yeah, because Enix it was originally it's from Enix, not Square.
Mm-hmm. So they're like, we literally can't change Dragon Warrior. If we change that, everybody will lose it. So we'll experiment with Final Fantasy series instead.
Right.
Ugh. How well that turned out.
I know, right?
I mean, it created the best game of all time, right?
Yeah, Final Fantasy 15. And the best video game protagonist of all time. Prince Noctis Lucius Column. Rest in peace, noble prince.
Trigger him out. Don't trigger him out.
I'm not. Let's just move on.
He's the prince we needed and the prince we deserved.
So, does anybody have anything else they're excited about?
Yeah. Dude, there's 6 games I'm going to buy probably for the rest of the year. Wow. Which is
I know Spider-Man's looking good. I don't know.
Dragon Quest, I'm going to get Spider-Man.
Really land
Spider-Man looks great.
I actually really want Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
I'm going to get Assassin's Creed.
None of you want to get Yokai Watch Blasters?
No.
I really want Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Mega Man 11.
Because they're adding more RPG elements.
Yeah.
It's
got waifus.
And the BioWare waifus.
Yeah.
One that I did not expect to have a release coming out that I am excited about a little bit is Lego DC Supervillains.
Yeah. You just play as all the villains?
I don't know, but I think it's a villain-based game.
That segues into our rumored third topic, the Lego video games.
You couldn't even finish it. You couldn't even finish it.
I know. I can't finish anything tonight. That's the theme.
But it's Lego games. Lego games are not hard to finish.
Don't you also want Soul Calibur 6?
Yeah,
I want Soul Calibur 6.
I'm excited about that too. I'm not gonna get it, but I think one of my friends will.
Excited.
I mean, Soul Calibur 6 is probably one of the few fighting games that I absolutely adore.
I have
so much.
I have not.
Guy?
Yes, I have as well, and he looks way over the top. I'm loving it.
Yep.
As well as what?
I have not bought. I have not bought.
I heard that.
A Soul Calibur game since it first came out. Like, since Soul Edge.
Honestly, you missed out because 2 was probably one of the best ones to come out.
No, that's what I'm saying. Is that I've bought every single one since it started coming out.
Okay.
I have been with Soul Calibur since its beginning, and it is to me the quintessential fighting game, if only because it's the one that I always return to. I love Soul Calibur so
I don't know what
much.
is like. I don't really care all that much for like, a lot of 2D fighting games, but Soul Calibur it clicked with me.
They're putting out Steins Gate on the Switch.
Yes, they are. They got like.
Dude, I'm gonna get that.
No one cares.
I never got to play Steins Gate.
Wow, just shit on something else.
Put in the. I want the waifu from Steins Gate into Soul Calibur. If you can put Yoda in the game, you can put in him.
Hey, you can always. There is always creative character.
They did confirm.
Yeah.
Hey, Pathfinder Kingmaker.
It's a shame. Yeah. It's a shame that Noctis is already in Tekken.
Oh yeah.
It would have been perfect. That was actually something that blew my mind. I was like, why is he in Tekken?
Freaking what's his name for Negan's gonna be in Tekken, so.
Are you saying that Tekken characters can't be in Soul Calibur?
Yes, it's actually
Soul Calibur.
Hey Hachi and Soul Calibur 3 on the PS2 exclusive. You
never
bastards.
happened. Never.
I mean, also Yoshimitsu, but
No,
Well,
that's also
Yoshimitsu,
doesn't count either.
I'm just
No,
saying,
he
they're
never
probably not
happened.
going to have exclusives between the same exclusive.
No, guys, this is
Yoshimitsu
impossible.
is kind of same and not.
It's
Right.
it's due to the copyright laws we were talking about that are very technical. They can't
Yeah.
actually have them in both games.
Yeah, RDR 2 is going to do gangbusters.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
man,
October.
I am so looking forward to RDR 2.
I've never played Red Dead Redemption or
It's
anything.
good. It's
any
really
Red
good.
Dead.
I have not either, which is really funny why I'm so excited.
I mean,
for this
I'm not
thing.
really into the game, Grand Theft Auto, so I
Yeah.
just never played it on
It
horseback.
is a good story.
To be
I think-
honest, the only reason why I never played it was just I never had the cash to buy it every time I thought about it. Like, I always would have bought it and I never did.
Yeah, re-release it for $15. PlayStation,
Oh, yeah.
Microsoft. What are you doing? Pokemon. I'm super excited for as well. It's probably I don't know if it's
Let's
my
go
second
Eevee and
favorite.
let's go Pikachu. Right?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Talking about re-releases, Spyro Trilogy, is that still slated for
It got
November?
delayed, but I think
It
it's
got
still.
delayed.
I think it's still coming out. Yeah,
I am-
November.
I am so excited about Spyro.
You
Spyro
know what, though?
was my jam back then.
We should probably props this. Freaking Mega Man 11 is going to
Yeah,
be
Mega
coming
Man
out.
11. I'll be getting that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
That'll be a quick,
legit.
nice little play it in a day game.
Yeah.
And then in December we have Just Cause 4 with that sweet tornado action.
Hey, don't get ahead of yourself here. We aren't on November.
Oh yeah, we're also getting. Or wait,
Persona
oh wait,
3
no, that was
dancing
2
in
days
Moonlight.
ago. Never mind.
What happened? What happened to Dorkun? Is he still down in the basement and dead? No. Okay. We're not going to
Yes.
tell you anything about the story. It's all a dream.
Oh. If you are a fan of The Walking Dead, that's coming out. Final season.
I think the first episode just came out or
already
is
came
about
out. Yep.
to.
And, first episode has already come out.
More ports to the Switch.
Yes.
All the
and then,
ports.
Child of
Dark
Light.
Souls.
World ends with you.
Dark
Dark Souls.
Disgaea
Nobody
1.
Dark Souls Remastered is coming out on the Switch the same day they're releasing the whole Dark Souls trilogy for the
For
Xbox,
everything
the
else,
PS4
yeah.
and Xbox
It's
One.
gonna die. It's gonna die before it even had a chance to breathe. That's dying on the operating table.
Fallout 76 should be or could be pretty big, and then Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee.
I hope those games do so well.
I might actually pick up Pathfinder Kingmaker. I might actually do it.
I don't
Because
know anything
I've been
about
looking
it.
at
I've
it. I
heard
didn't
of
actually
it.
remember. I hadn't actually ever committed the name to memory, but I've been watching it since they announced it.
I mean, I love myself some tabletop RPG game and stuff.
I love
so-
isometric RPGs.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm potentially partial to this.
I'll probably wait
it
till y'all
is-
play it and then say something about it.
I mean, the only downside is I kind of like the turn-based stuff, and it is a real time with. I don't know.
Yeah,
why
it's
that's
like
a thing.
Baldur's Gate or
It
something.
features a real-time with pause combat system in
Okay,
isometric
yeah.
perspective.
It's like Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, it's like
You
Baldur's Gate. Yeah.
Pause, choose all your actions, unpause.
Yep.
I'm curious. I mean, this I assume, like I don't know. I might get it, and then then I might want to hold off because I assume like a year or two from now, people will have ported like every Pathfinder rule into a mod or something in existence, so I can play every class I want.
I not only expect it, I not only believe it, I expect it to happen.
Yeah,
That's to all the modders out there. Get to it. Chop chop.
because like Neverwinter Nights had that. Like
Yeah.
Neverwinter Nights 2 had like a lot of 3.5 rules later.
Yeah.
People modding it and stuff. I assume like Pathfinder with all of its expansive rule set will probably get mods based on those.
I mean, it's quite literally the tabletop dream. It's
Yeah.
just to get your tabletop game into a video
Someone do
game.
it with 5e rules and you will never see me again. So,
I don't know. I thought the same thing for Persona 5, but then you eventually emerged from your deep dark cave.
well, you know, it's only 140 hours to get the platinum trophy in that game.
Yeah.
Oh.
I will say one expansion I'm interested in and I want to go back to, but I don't know that I will. Destiny 2.
Yeah,
The Forsaken.
It's looking real good, but
It looks really good, and the story I am already invested based off of the
Yeah.
trailers that are out.
You
but
talk
at the same
again.
time,
Your silence protagonist is gone. Matt Mercer's back as the male human, and then other
Yay.
voices are back. But Matt Mercer was in the trailer, so
Nice.
but like at the same time, Nathan Fillion dies.
well, it's not even Nathan Fillion. It's Nolan North is playing Cade in that.
That's true.
Yeah, Nathan North.
He's the Matthew
Nathan
Mercer to
Fillion,
his Troy Breaker.
right?
But you know what I mean.
Yeah, Nathan Fillion was apparently had conflicts, but yeah,
You know what I mean, though. Cade's dead.
We
Cade
now,
was awesome.
we now know
Cade
how long it
didn't
will
need
take
to
to play
die.
through Spider-Man. 20 hours
Yeah.
on average.
That's incredibly short.
so just a day for you.
I was gonna say that sounds
That was
like
God of
just a
War. It
long
took me like
Saturday.
a month.
I'm
so-
hoping that means that there's multiple endings because I'm going to be very sad if the whole of the game is only 20 hours.
Does
20 hours for a
RDR2
Western game is a long game.
I guess it's hard to say
Think
right
so?
now, but do we think RDR2 will beat out God of War for Game of the Year?
Sorry, already what?
I could see
Red
it
Dead
giving
Redemption
it,
2.
Oh, okay.
I could see it giving it a run for its money, but at the same time, it's going to be both more fresh towards end of the year and also not have been around long enough to gain as
Or
much
does
of a
Peter
steam.
Parker pull web out of his ass?
I think
No. I mean,
I
he
think
does,
it will
but
make
that's
more
not-
money than God of War, but I don't think it will be considered a better game, like from
I would agree with that.
like a critical standpoint.
We'll see.
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Those
Red
games are
Dem-
pretty critically lauded.
Yeah,
Well,
Red Dead Redemption 2, like,
But
took
they were
off.
critically
That was a
loud.
rocket.
Right, but it was more because fans loved it than from a technical standpoint. Red Dead Redemption 1 wasn't exactly the creme de la creme of game mechanics, or like it was fun, it was great, but it wasn't
God
like,
of War isn't either. Let me tell you.
Well, no, it isn't, but I could see it
All
being
subjective.
more, yeah.
With its faux heady themes and it's
I mean, you got-
Naughty
you
Dog
got-
syndrome, imposter
Well,
syndrome.
you've got all your different ways to look at it. You can either subscribe to which one made more money in like a period of time and whatnot.
Yeah.
You can subscribe to which got better reviews. You can subscribe to I liked it better. I mean,
If you want me to vote
Yeah,
God of
well,
War
that's what
Game
I
of
was-
the Year, you need to do the sequel where he goes to the Japanese mythology like they
I
ended
mean-
at.
That's
man.
probably not the next one.
No, it's not.
It might be the one after they're done with Norse.
Yeah, the next one will be Norse too. I could see them doing like 2 games in the
That
Norse
would be
mythology.
if
Because
they go to
also,
Japanese
they also
mythology-
showed what was it, Celtic, Japanese, Mayan,
And Egyptian,
and
I think.
Egyptian. Yeah,
Well,
any but Egyptian, and I'm good to go.
Hey, like I would have loved if they went to Chinese mythology. I love China, man.
Well, they showed specifically 4 on like art and stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, then Japan it is. Let's go to
Right, yeah.
Japan.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Let's
like,
go fight some samurai.
Yeah, gotta kill
Kill them all.
Matarasu and all that.
I
You gotta catch them all, then you gotta kill them all.
Gotta murder Amaterasu. That's gonna be a
how do
sad
you
fight.
kill a son?
Yeah, because what
with
that's
the
gonna
raw
put the
sin
sun right
going, obviously.
What do you do when you have the whole
I mean, after you go
Pokemon
into what
after
was it,
you?
Sage?
Then you learn the Ross and Shuriken
Yeah.
and you throw it. Then you get
Go
your
into
non-tailed
Sage
beast
mode.
chakra mode. Yeah, then you get non-tailed beast
Sage
sage
9?
chakra mode.
Yeah, right.
And then you get
I was-
Sage of the Six Paths non-tailed beast chakra nature mode. It gets
Failed.
retarded. Okay.
You went to Naruto instead of L5R.
Yeah.
You have now been ejected from this podcast.
We're voting you. We're voting you off the.
You are the
island
weakest
right now.
link. Goodbye.
GGFO.
No.
To the shadow realm for you.
Banish. I'm in the.
All right.
It's the
I think we might be
Superman
done.
glass thing flying through
Oh, it
space.
might be.
Yeah, we're done. We're so done. Put a fork in us. All right, this has been episode 64, Podcast of 5 Rings, your source of alignment in their own video games, tabletop, anime, film, and tech. Each episode of Podcast of 5 Rings releases Monday mornings on iTunes and SoundCloud, and Talk About Topic day by day on YouTube, with the full video releasing on Friday. Check us out on Twitter, Podcast 5R, Facebook, P5R Podcast. You know the drill by now. Blah, 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 blah. And we're going to be playing Final Fantasy Monthly Mod this weekend. So, be looking forward to that. I will have it up probably sometime the week that this comes out, too, the first part of it. So, bloop. We'll be playing it. It'll be Final Fantasy 4 is the setting, which I don't think any of you have played.
I've never.
I have long.
Oh, you
ago.
have? Okay.
Yeah,
I
Well,
skipped-
Literally,
I've played
totally
every
played
single-
Final
Well,
Fantasy.
I know you have, Tets. Everybody knows that.
I've played all of them but 5.
See, I'm the opposite. I've played all of them but 4.
5 is one of the best ones, Mal.
Yeah, at this point
It's
just too
only a third of 15.
All you need to do is emulate the best version
Damn.
of it.
old.
Hey, all right, let's get out of here.
Topical.
We'll see everybody later. Goodbye.
Later.
I'm the weakest link. If I break out of the Shadow Realm, then maybe you'll see me.
Two cattywampus meta.
Catawampus.
Camp.
Cattywampus.